This video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. It's going to touch on my internet situation at the cabin and the struggles I've had over the past 2 years. Since my property is off-grid in a very remote area, internet has been hard to come by. Pretty much the only thing that I've had is sporadic cell service at best. That's why I was pretty excited when Nomad Internet reached out to me to test out their Nomad Air travel system. This consists of a wireless modem along with a battery backup that is supposed to last about a week. Another thing that was appealing to me is that it comes with a travel case since I go back and forth between the cabin and tent quite a bit. They say that you can get up to 200 megabits per second of internet anywhere, but I don't really think that's the case here in my rural property. But who knows, I'm going to test it out on a few different sites on the property and see what kind of readings we get. Setup was pretty easy. I just followed the instructions, powered on the wireless modem, and waited for the light to start blinking. Now let's go ahead and start our first speed test. I do most of my internet surfing and video editing on an iPad mini, so I figured that would be the best device to test out first. The instructions say to keep the modem away from basements or inner walls and near windows to get optimal performance. So let's go ahead and start our first speed test using a popular application. "17 meg downloads, pretty dang good for where I'm at. It's probably about double what I normally get on my cell service. That should allow for internet browsing of high definition 1080p, not quite 4K, but that's alright by me. We're going to go ahead and run a second speed test for accuracy's sake. I normally like to test things out at least 2 to 3 times and just take the average. So 16 meg, that's pretty consistent and I'm pretty happy with that, considering how rural my property is. This clip right here just shows me doing some basic web surfing and checking out YouTube and seeing what the load time looks like. Overall, it's much better than the 4G cell service I usually have on my phone. Let's go ahead and run a speed test on my cell phone and see what those results look like. I'll be using the exact same speed test app on the phone. If what I'm thinking is correct, it should be about half the speed of what the Nomad internet provides. After all, the video load time on my iPad on the Nomad internet loads about twice as fast as my phone. Yep, pretty much what I thought. I'm going to go ahead and run another test outside just to see if there's any difference in the readings. Sometimes different areas of a building provide different results. Interesting, it's actually a little bit less than what I thought it would be. I thought being outside and away from walls would provide better readings, but I guess not. So overall, at the main cabin site, the Nomad internet provides twice the experience compared to what I had been used to on my cell phone. So let's go ahead and pack everything up and go on a little field trip. I'm really interested to see how this performs at the future cabin site, which I hope to start construction on in late 2024. This area of my property is way back in the woods. I'll be really surprised if I get any kind of good readings here. We're going to go ahead and unpack, get it set up, turn it on, and see what we come up with. So here we go with speed test 2. I have it about 6 feet off the ground, and I think the results will be a little bit better here. I know it's kind of hard to see with the glare of the sun, so I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot of the final reading. So 14 meg is really good considering how far back I am in the woods. So here we go. We're going to do one more test at the tent site, which is kind of more near the front of my property. I've always had really bad cell service here, so I'm not expecting much, truthfully. The tent is situated in a little valley, which probably makes cell coverage and internet in general very hard to come by. That's pretty much what I expected. I'm really not disappointed since I don't really do much with computers here at the tent. It would be nice to have basic internet here, but it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. So here's some final thoughts on the Nomad Air travel system. One of the things that I really like about it is that it's really portable. This will especially come in handy when I start clearing out the back part of my property towards where the future cabin site will be. The travel case is well designed and makes transporting the equipment pretty easy. Another thing that I liked was that the battery bank really does hold its charge for quite a long time. I don't even think I used 5% so far. I've had my family out here a couple times with all of their devices attached to the Nomad, and no one really experienced anything of poor quality. Compared to the non-existent internet service that I've had here for the past 2 years, the Nomad is really going to allow me to watch high-definition videos, web browse, edit videos, and do a lot of things that I had not been able to do up until now. Again, due to my rural off-grid location, I'm not expecting anything close to the 200 megabits per second that Nomad advertises. Now, if you live closer to a city, I'm sure you could probably get pretty close to that. So overall, if you do live rural or off-grid, I would definitely recommend the Nomad as a viable option for you to look at. There are a couple configurations and a couple different plans to choose from depending on what your needs are. There will also be a link in the video description to get further information on the Nomad system, or if you want to try it out or even purchase. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back at the cabin for an old-fashioned family Thanksgiving.